It's public. Sorry. Got my stuff everywhere. Just stop. I felt really low.
I know, I'm short.
Am I short?
Again with San José State.
I'm short.
As a reminder, when we have these press conferences, if you could mute your cell phones. We also will bring a microphone to you. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. We appreciate it if you give your name and affiliation. For San Jose State, we have student athletes Rebecca Woodbury, Torreya Cunningham, Coach Jamie Craighead. Coach, if we could start with you, just some remarks on today's game.
We shot the ball really well. That's probably the biggest three-point, shooting night we've had since Friday. So it was great. When we're clicking and Becca's hitting shots and T is getting to the rim and getting pull-up jumpers, it makes our offense so much easier to score. It loosens the shoulders of all of our bench players. It was a tremendous performance by two seniors and a great team effort.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now take questions for the student athletes, and then we'll come back to Coach. Questions for the student athletes? Let's go over here first.
For Rebecca, you guys got down early, 22-11, and at whatever point it just clicked, and you just kind of turned it on and end up 8 of 11 from long range. At some point, does it just trigger in your head to take the game over? What kind of went through your head this afternoon?
I wouldn't say to take the game over. I think our offense moved the ball well, so we were able to get open shots. So it's easy to make shots.
Go ahead, over here.
Becca, do you like the air in Las Vegas? You are 16 of your last 25 from range.
I like tournament time.
When you get started, something like that, can you start feeling it and you just want the ball?
Yeah, you could say that. It starts to feel good, and I feel like my next shot's going to go in.
T, it looked like you started out on Funda. Was that the plan, to try and slow her down in the first half and kind of limit what she was doing?
Yeah, it was, but I picked up those two quick ones and had to switch man after that.
Is this a time of year where you just say, look, if I want to keep playing at some point in time, in games, I just got to take it. And I've got to take over and do what I got to do to keep playing?
Yeah, us being the two seniors, we've been here in this position. I was here last year, and it didn't end the way that we wanted to. So now it's just being mature and finding the ways to finish and close out games.
Coach?
We'll finish with the student athletes first, and then we'll come back to Coach. Over here.
Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press. Sorry, I didn't identify myself earlier. For the players, at a certain point, when you guys get the hot hand and you start getting in a flow, Coach just let you run with it, or is there a game plan in place at all times? Or, like I said, if you get hot on a hot streak, you just run with it?
We all actually have the green light just to, if we want to take the first open shot. That's always been our game plan, every game in. And when we get going, we just start sharing the ball, moving the ball, and then everybody starts to heat up.
Rebecca, was there ever a time early on, I think you were down by 9, that you guys were concerned? Or was it just, look, we're just going to keep pressuring them. They're eventually going to stop scoring at the clip that they were, and then just keep pressuring them defensively, and eventually it would turn around your way?
Yeah, we were focused on just keeping up the pressure, weren't worrying about the score, just playing our game and following our game plan.
We're here. Go ahead.
Danny Webster from the Rebel Yell. What has been the key for the last couple of days? It seems like you guys' offense has been clicking at an astronomical rate. Couldn't miss a shot, can't miss a three-pointer. What's been the key the last few days?
The key, like I mentioned earlier, was just for us to move well on offense and get better spacing. We've been really practicing our spacing in our practices, so it's helped a lot.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, ladies.
Don't leave me. I got to get on the bus, You'll be good. I'll be good.
Now I'll take questions for Coach Craighead. Go ahead.
Coach, I guess I will ask you what I asked the players. Fairly early on, I think Utah State was shooting about 67%. You were down by 9. What was the thought process? Was it, look, we'll just keep pushing, we'll just keep pressuring, eventually they're going to crack, and we're going to push this thing out. We'll get back and we'll push this thing out?
When we were down 2011, I didn't like what we were doing defensively, so we mixed it. We mixed it up. We went to our matchup zone, and it helped the person who was guarding number 3, who was a tremendous player, stay in front of the ball because we were covering the elbows and the boxes. And I thought it slowed them down a little bit. They didn't have a great three-point shooting night, so obviously we could stand in a matchup zone and make them take long shots and not get to the rim, and that was the goal. I thought that was the turning point for us. And then Emily Van and Paris Baird came in that stretch and boxed those kids out and gave us opportunities to run, and it was the turning point of the game for us.
And it seemed like also tonight your bigs were not in foul trouble. How much of a factor was that?
Were they not? I always feel like they are. Yeah, it was. They got to play. Jazz and Ree, I could rotate them in and out. We got Van in there for a stretch in the first half. We went 5 out, and she hit some shots. But we obviously need our bigs. We don't have a whole lot of them, and we play a lot of teams that have more size than us. So I thought they did a great job in the second half, especially of rebounding the basketball on the defensive end and getting our break started.
And then talk, if you would, about the play of two of your seniors, Rebecca and Terea, and what they kind of meant down the stretch this year.
The game is always tight. I never think it's over. But when they hit a couple threes and Becca just came down and kept answering, and then T got a easy basket, I was able to breathe. They've been tremendous. It started for us, I think, when we had our senior game, and they're just 2 kids that don't want their season to end, their careers to end. They have tremendous basketball ability, and when the 2 of them are playing well together, they could be probably 2 of the deadliest offensive threats in the conference, and we need the 2 of them to keep it going if we're going to beat the champs tomorrow.
Over here.
And feeding off that answer, 2 straight games in Vegas, close the season with a 99-point performance, and then again tonight. Does that help, as obviously with some confidence and going in against a team that can play some defense, score off turnovers, so on and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. Colorado State, they make you beat yourself. And they got tremendous talent. For us, we got to get up and down, and they do a better job probably than anybody of taking away our break. We're going to have to go fast. We're going to have to push the tempo, and we're going to have to shoot the ball really well. They're the champs for a reason, and we're just going to come and compete and see what we can do.
Anything else? Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
For Utah State, we have student athletes Funda Nakkasoglu, Tijana, Djukic, Coach Jerry Finkbeiner. Coach, we can start with you, just some general remarks on today's game.
Okay. First of all, you did a great job pronouncing our names. These 3 names up here are quite the consonants and the vowels. The first 2 times we played them the first time at their place, really a squeaker. We didn't have Funda, our leading scorer. Got beat in the last 30 seconds. Second game at our place, we controlled the tempo very well and won at our place. And I knew it was going to be a close game today. And I think the difference between the first 2 games that we were happy with versus this game that we were frustrated with is the tempo of the game that they just totally controlled. I think we had a false sense of security early when we got an early lead and it was going up and down that we could play this style for 40 minutes. And we went through a stretch of 4 or 5 turnovers, I think straight turnovers on passes and 1 traveling, that changed the momentum just abruptly with about 9 minutes to go in the first half, and we never could gain control after that. We made 2 good stabs in the second half to cut it to 5, but we put a lot of energy into it, and their kids just came back and hit another 3, and another 3, and just kind of buried us the 2 times we made stabs in the second half. So San Jose State played a really good game from the shot. I thought the second half they shot so early, if they were to miss those things, might have given us an open door, but they're making them. So the doors were really never truly open for us to really get back in it. But I'm happy for these two players, Tyler Clark. Those three led us in statistics. We're a very young team. I think it showed a little bit today in some of the decisions we made. But San Jose State is a very scary first-round opponent, and this is the reason. If they're on, they can beat anybody in the conference. If they're off, they struggle. Today they're on, and we tried. We tried to put a hand in the face. We tried to Cunningham and Woodbury. They just had really good games.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now take questions for the student athletes.
For Funda, it had to be frustrating for the effort that you put in for everybody. I mean, but as far as your numbers are concerned, 26 points to lead the team, 100% from the free throw line, 0 for 4 from long range. In trying to keep up, as Coach said, sort of feed off that in their long range game, that become frustrating and sort of wear on you guys down the stretch?
I think, we've had a lot of games like this, and it comes down to mental toughness, I guess, and we've got to keep, working on that as a few, seasons that are ahead of us come by. But, it does get frustrating. You just got to kind of let it go and, find other ways that you can score and other ways that you can transition break into what you want to do. And, I give so much credit to San Jose and their game plan tonight, and I think, it did wear us down a little bit, yeah.
For a while, you guys were effective in terms of finding the ball inside, either with a driving kick offense or, getting the ball down low. You went to the free throw line 27 times, hit 26 of them, and yet they just still keep coming back. Tijana, for you, just sort of their game plan and how they were able to counter everything you guys did.
I think they had a really good shot, and they kept making them, and we couldn't just keep our emotion up and keep our energy up. We fell down and couldn't get it back up.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, ladies. Questions for the coach?
Kurt Cragthorpe from the Salt Lake Tribune. Jerry, you talked about contesting Woodbury's shots. Were you okay with what you were able to do with that, or did you lose her a couple times?
We, probably the inside information, we have really good scouting report on San Jose State. We both came from the WAC. We know these kids. Coach Jamie does a really good job with them. Our biggest surprise on how our 3, 4, and 5 players didn't execute the game plan. Even at half court, at halftime, remind them that any three-point shooter, if they get the shot off, we're not playing the three-point shooter. And so they shot, 35 threes, and probably 35 threes weren't contested to the level our scouting report had us do it. And so that was a frustrating part about it. And our 3, 4, and 5 players, probably a security, safety, trust in the game plan thing failed. And this isn't the first time. This is one of the weaknesses of our team this year. And it really has to do more with our upperclassmen than our younger players, is the execution of the game plan. There shouldn't be this many surprises tonight, in our opinion, afterthought now, that they shot that many. Woodbury is a very good three-point shooter, 8 for 11. To me, that shows that she just out of her mind, or we didn't execute defensively. It's probably a combination of both. She played really well, and I know for sure there's a couple girls on the bench at the end of the game that weren't in the game because Woodbury is getting shots that were, in our mind, not contested close enough.
Anything else? Thank you very much, Coach.
All right, thanks.